Darkcast. Welcome to the dark side of podcasting.
Welcome to Creepy Tapas,
where we do the opposite of deep dives and bring you tiny tastes of terror connected by a common ingredient.
True stories to haunt and chill you and the pop culture they inspired.
Or at least the movies and books that remind us of them.
Join us as we descend into darkness,
beginning with the lighter side of our weekly topic,
and wrapping with a full dark, no stars account of terror, madness, murder, and more. It's Creepy Tapas, y'all.
Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day, you said you were straight. Next year, I'll save my tears. I'll give my heart to someone queerer.
There you go.
Well, hey, y'all. If you are listening to this today, the day that it is coming out, December 25th, 2022, it is Christmas in America. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
We are having a very late tapas. It is 11:45 p.m. It's actually going to be Christmas Eve in 15 minutes.
Yep, it sure is. We're getting a really late start on this one. Had to wait till the kid passed out.
I'm 100% positive that everybody at this point knows who Krampus is. I mean, come on.
I'm sure.
Come on, people.
Yeah, come on, God.
God, come on, people. What have you been living under a rock? Most Christmas traditions are benign and nice. After all, 'tis the season to be holly jolly. However, with the brightest and boldest colors of holiday light and whimsy, there has to be a dark abyss to contrast it.
There has to be.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. Just always, right? You can't have heaven without hell. We are broadcasting live from the depths of hell, where we are torturing people and we are letting demons lick your flesh. With a rising popularity, people are always searching for new ways to celebrate the Yule season in non-traditional ways. We traveled the world on Google, at least, and compiled the ultimate list for you guys, the 13 Cryptids of Christmas. Come along, ghoul fiends, as we descend into darkness on today's episode of
Creepy Tapas.
So TJ and I went to that Shadrack Mountain Christmas light show, and it was really awesome. We should go next year. How's your Christmas been so far?
Me, it's been fine.
Yeah.
We ain't done nothing yet.
What y'all been doing?
Nothing. We've been sitting at the fucking house staying warm because it's cold as shit outside.
Oh yeah, it is pretty cold out. It's kind of beautiful, but also kind of a bummer.
It ain't beautiful. It's fucking cold.
You wake up in the morning. It looks like baby Jesus took like one of those little confectioner sugar sprinkler things.
Why has it got to be baby Jesus doing it?
Well, why has it got to be God doing it?
Nobody said that. You said that.
The Sky Wizards.
The Sky Wizards.
It's just some anthropomorphized cloud with a hand.
I mean, it's frozen water in the sky.
I'm trying to be romantic about it. It was the baby Jesus.
I mean, there's science.
Came through with this little, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Put that powdered sugar all over the mountain, and it was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
Still, sometimes a deer would come through
and eat some of the sugar.
Just eat it, whatever it was that deer eat, some fucking rabbit shit. I don't know. I'm not
mountain
a deer.
Sugar.
Whatever it is. Yeah, mountain
eat
sugar.
Leaves and shit.
That's what happened to Cocaine Bear. He was on that mountain sugar.
There we go.
I've seen a few people on that mountain sugar. It's fucking wild. So no, I'm excited. I'm excited about Santa coming. Kaylee had a really great Christmas. My niece, she just turned 5, and she does this really great thing where she's great at receiving gifts. Every time she opens anything, she goes, "Oh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh my God." She genuinely loves every present. And or she'll be like, "Oh, I did so really want this."
Oh, well, that's good.
I did so. It was the cutest thing.
Aw.
Right? So yeah, it's been a really sentimental, heartwarming Christmas. And young people listening to this, your ideas of a Christmas gift changes over time and you start wanting the smiles on children's faces. You get different desires as you age.
Well, mine talks a lot. Non-fucking stop. I swear I love him so much, but I am so ready for Christmas break to be over. Oh God. It's just nonstop questions and talking and bouncing and spinning and dancing around the house. And like, I love him so much, but he's so loud. It's loud.
It makes a lot of sense to me how a lot of these holiday traditions where we sort of threaten children with presents like Santa Claus, who, when we talk about Christmas cryptids, is number one on my list. It is a hotly contested issue right now, whether or not Santa is or isn't a cryptid. I think that he is. I do, because he is a being that nobody sees, but everybody agrees exists.
But he's not malevolent.
You don't have to be malevolent to be a cryptid.
Well, but I feel like Beast leads you to believe that.
Sometimes he leaves coal.
Well, that's true.
I mean, like, that's a bummer.
And he's got some shitty friends, according to this list. So he can't be all good.
He can't be all good. And then you got to remember, like, being a kid where, like, other kids would get more stuff or better stuff. Like, he didn't even visit some kids at all. Like, what's that all about? You know, like, they wouldn't even get coal. They wouldn't get shit. Or they get, like, a sock. Or, like, you know? So I don't know. When I think about fairy tales, you know, how they're written as ways to teach children to be careful. And this is back when kids could actually make fatal errors that, you know, would lead danger straight to their doorstep, possibly putting the whole family at risk. I mean, like, if a kid fucked around and found out, it could mean the difference of life or death. So I can see this darker time leading to more extreme measures. And the threat of no frivolous gifts from Santa may not have been enough to really sway the little demon children of yesteryear into acting right.
Had to threaten to murder them.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, you're asking them to, like, cut wood and shit. I mean, like, you're not just asking them to act right. You're asking them to do, like, as we'll see here in a minute, some of these guys are very obsessed on specific tasks, like whether or not you've received clothes for Christmas or whether or not you've finished your looming.
Right.
These are real concerns.
Or just your chores in general.
You know, just don't be a sloppy bitch, you know?
Yeah, you messy bitch is gonna get it.
I'll fucking eat you.
'Tis the punishment for being a slob.
The more brutal delivery of this message is perhaps due to the fact that winters in certain areas of the world were incredibly dangerous, especially before they had shit like power.
Yes. Indoor plumbing.
The shit was cold. Oh God. Yeah. You know, I hadn't even thought about that. They had to, like, go outside to, like, do their
freeze their ass off. Literally.
Yikes, man. Well, if your child was disobedient, it seriously could mean death in these conditions. Kids who would venture off into the freezing, snowy dark never came home, you know? So you kind of had to freak their shit out a little bit during the winter time, you know?
Right. Scare them into staying home and behaving.
Definitely. Keep them from getting eaten by wolves, you know, whatever you got to do. So these families had tons of work that needed to get done. Like I was saying, it was before the darkness of winter. You didn't have daylight anymore to see the work that you had to do. So to catch up for everything that needed to happen, all members of the family, no matter how young or old, had to be extra diligent and put forth maximum effort to be prepared. Preparation equaled survival. I would suck at being alive back then.
God, same.
This would have been trash.
Like all of it. It would have been miserable. I can't stand being cold.
You would have had to have been living, I think me too, in like a warmer climate, but then that has the opposite issues. Bugs. Yeah. And no air conditioning.
Oh, word. Well, I just don't know which I would prefer. Heat and bugs or I don't want to freeze.
Modern times.
Yes, that's what I prefer.
So, but yeah, this whole thing really made me think of Yule Cat, who actually eats children who don't get clothes for Christmas. And we'll talk more about him later, but he is motivated entirely by his need to ensure everyone finished their weaving, knitting, sewing by the time the daylight ran out and the cold set in, or else, you know, he would come and he'll eat you. That's quite a punishment. That's a
That is. Do your work or get eaten by a weird cat.
the giant black cat. Well, in Catholicism, Saint Nick, Santa Claus is the patron saint of children. His saint's day falls in early December, usually December 6th, which helped strengthen his association with the Yuletide season, which of course I feel like we don't need to repeat it, but just in case anyone isn't completely on the same page, is actually a pagan holiday that was then taken by the Christians and transformed into what it is today and then commercialized by America. So
They turned it into Jesus's birthday.
yeah, Jesus was actually not born anywhere near December, but that's an entirely different podcast somewhere. I'm
Yep.
sure you can.
Not us.
Not us. Many European cultures not only welcomed the kindly man, Santa Claus, as a figure of generosity and benevolence to reward the good kids, but they also feared his menacing counterparts, punished the naughty. Are you the naughty?
Am I? Well, I don't know. Maybe.
I think I'm the in between somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I would be like purgatory.
I deserve some
Not
lumps.
good, but not well. I think I'm more good than I am bad.
I feel like I should get a lump of coal for every time I burped into the microphone.
Krampus.
Yes, Krampus, a half goat, half demon, horrific beast who literally beats people into being nice. And he believes if you spare the birch stick, you'll spoil the child. It's hardcore. The Christmas king of your nightmares, Krampus has long horns, dark hair, fangs, and a long tongue. That tongue, though, you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
He's like the Gene Simmons of Christmas kings. And he's so horny.
He does have big old horns.
He's got at least like 18-inch horns. He's got like them tongues and the muscles. Like he never has a shirt
shut
on.
up.
Look at him. He's ripped. Krampus is
Might get
ripped.
impaled by a horn though.
He ain't like that because like you're not a
You don't
naughty
know what
kid.
he's like. You don't know what he's like.
I guess that's true. That's true. I haven't been visited. The anti-Santa comes with a chain and bells, and he loves to make a big old fucking ruckus. He likes just like smash him around everywhere, which I think is really fun. He's so punk rock. This is why he got so popular. He also carries around a bundle of birch sticks that he uses to beat the naughty children.
Yep. Just beat him into submission.
Christmas lashings, you know? Come and
it ain't
get 'em.
Christmas if you don't have marks on your back.
He then takes the really bad kids, like the fucking goblin, gremlin ass, just wicked children. He takes them down the underworld. That would suck, dude. Imagine like telling your kid, like, you better be good or you're going to get dragged to hell.
I mean, is that not what people kind of tell their children anyways?
Well, Krampus's name is derived from the German word Krampen, meaning claw, and is said to be the son of Hel in Norse mythology. Krampus was created as a counterpart to kindly old Saint Nick, who rewarded children with sweets. So just candy, not really all, like you couldn't ask him for like an iPad.
This is a different generation.
different.
All you get is candy
You just
and
get
fruit.
some sweets, nuts, fruits. Like you're fucking not dead, so you're welcome. You didn't get dragged to hell. That's your present.
You get to live for another year.
Yeah.
Here's an apple.
There's an apple and some walnuts.
You will like it.
Well, Krampus, in contrast to St. Nicholas giving out sweets, he swatted wicked children, put them in a sack, and took them away to his lair, which I think is a very reasonable punishment. I really do. I think
Definitely
that's
reasonable.
Completely reasonable. Well, according to folklore, Krampus purportedly shows up in towns the night of December 5th, known as Krampusnacht or Krampus Night. And depending on the lore, he may leave a switch in place of gifts from Santa Claus. So instead of, and I feel like we should do this. This is a good tradition. Like psych Axel out one morning and just put like a switch down, just a birch switch, and be like, that's it. No presents. But like he has presents, but like let him cry and have like a horrible like first 6 hours of his day. And then like midway through the day when he's just like so defeated and depressed, you're like, by the way, we were just fucking with you.
That would be torturous for me too.
No, that would be awful. That would be awful. Can you imagine?
No, I would never do that to him.
This is why
I would feel so bad.
This is why the powers that be made me infertile. So I wouldn't do these torture experiments. A more modern take on the tradition in Austria, Germany, Hungary, Slovenia, and the Czech Republic involves drunken men dressed as devils who take over the streets for Krampuslauf, a Krampus run.
That sounds like fun. It's like a running of the bulls, but with people dressed up in
Drunk
demon
men
suits.
dressed up like Krampus.
Oh,
Yeah, and they chase people through the streets and whip them.
fun.
Yeah.
I mean, does it have to be a dude? Could I do it?
I don't know. I didn't see anywhere where it said that anyone but cis men were allowed.
I mean, under
so.
that costume, they wouldn't know if I was a dude or not.
I believe you can be burly.
I got a pretty deep voice.
Yeah, you could be like, hey, what's up?
Hey, ladies, where are my bitches?
So in the US, people are embracing the dark side of Christmas with Krampus movies. Like, you know, we've got Krampus parties and all kinds of stuff, especially in like DC and NOLA, you know, because those places are fucking so fresh. Like they're just like, oh yeah, we're going to have Krampus dog. Excuse to get drunk and get half naked, run around with bells on and whip people. Yeah. Woo. So that's what's going on down there.
Are they half naked?
I mean, yeah, Krampus like has like that fucking, you know, he's not really wearing a shirt. I mean, I guess you could wear like some furs.
Well, doesn't he wear that big ass cloak?
Oh yeah, but I mean, like he's
like a streaker. He's flashing people.
I've seen a lot of depictions of him that are kind of overtly sexualized.
Okay.
So I don't know.
People try to sexualize demons. You know how they are.
You gotta
pervs.
Well, I think the thing is you assume that they're going to be very like amazing at sex because like you associate like sex with sin. So you think like, oh man,
the demons will be the best at it.
But it's like we've discussed before. Satan is a bottom. And I feel like Krampus
you
would be
decided
too.
That.
Well, I decided that because I know the type. I mean, I can't, I'm just reading the type. Like he's got such a hardcore job. And I feel like Krampus would be the same. Now, Santa Claus tops Mrs. Claus. I guarantee it. Okay. I guarantee
I've never really thought about it.
That man ties her up with ribbons and fucking like spanks her and shit. He's like, you've been naughty. Yes. But Krampus wants somebody to make like just sweet, tender, vanilla love, you know?
No, I don't.
He's got such an extreme job. Like sometimes you just need someone to lay you down and kiss you. And I feel
wild.
like that's how you have sex with Krampus. So you don't need to not wear a shirt, man. You can put it on and just wear that cloak. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry that I asked.
But some people are worried, you know, they're bitching that Krampus is becoming a sellout and he's becoming too commercialized and losing his edge because he's getting popular like Wednesday.
And people are going to make him topless and glittery.
That's right. That's right.
Should make him sparkle.
So number 2 on the list.
Gryla.
And the lads. I come from the land of the ice and snow.
Nice. Welcome to Iceland, y'all.
They have some pretty rockin' folklore over here, but there's one special mama that deserves your adulation as well as your fear. Gryla.
I liked how you Gryla.
Well, her name actually means a scare or something that scares. So that's festive.
Yeah. Just get right to the point. Bitch is scary.
She's fucking scary. You know why she's scary?
I don't.
Oh, I can say it all in one sentence. She's a cannibalistic mother of 13.
Oh God, having 13 kids sounds terrifying.
It would make you eat people.
It would make you eat people.
No, thank you. I'm looking at you, 18 kids and counting or whatever the fuck.
And people are psychos.
How many people have you eaten?
Why would you want that many spawns? I mean, get your tubes tied or get a fucking vasectomy or something. You don't have to have that many fucking kids.
Or just run away from all of it.
That's irresponsible.
Just run away.
No. No, not when they're. Don't leave your children.
Leave them. Leave
them.
Give them to Gryla.
No.
So she and her children
Bitches gonna eat them.
No. And thus the cycle of life continues.
How is that the cycle of life?
Things eat other things to live. Didn't you watch the fucking Lion King? Like that was Mufasa's whole speech.
That's true.
Gryla, by the way, in case you were wondering what a cannibalistic mother of 13 gets up to, she loves walks, long walks on a winter evening, followed by an endless buffet of screaming children.
That sounds terrible.
It's lovely. She enjoys torturing and consuming her husbands and hanging out with her giant cat. So Live, laugh, love, y'all.
Yeah, why not?
Do it. I bet she has that. You know what? I bet fucking Gryla on her porch puts a happy fall y'all sign up.
That is really random, but maybe.
She's a mother of 13. You know, she's doing it. You know, she's got that basic porch decoration shit going on.
Well, she doesn't sound like a basic bitch to me.
Well, actually, you're right. You're right. Especially when you figure out here in a second where she lives. So Gryla and her family and her kids and everyone we'll get more into later live in this real life Mordor, like deep in Dimmu Borgir, also known as the Black Fortress. So this ethereal lava labyrinth is wrought with lore, and it's the perfect place for Gryla and her family to crash in the off season because nobody's going to fucking go there. You'd have to be insane.
What is a lava labyrinth? That sounds amazing.
I know, right? So when a volcano erupts,
well, yeah, I mean,
lava
it makes like a maze, though.
I guess like she's used her like Gryla magic to like eat corridors and.
Gotcha.
But yeah, but the place is real. Dimmu Borgir is real. Like you can go there. Like,
oh, cool.
It exists.
Maybe one day we will go.
Maybe one day we will. Maybe one. It kind of sounds a little scary. The Black Fortress. Where are you going today? Dimmu Borgir. Actually, that's metal as fuck. Yeah. I feel like we should go. now that I say that. Yeah. Well, from December 11th to the 24th, from the 11th through the 24th, they all part ways to create chaos and mischief all over the world. Each of Gryla's children is appropriately named after their favorite antic, which ranges from truly bizarre, like sucking milk from your cow's teats, sniffing your doorway.
What the fuck does sniffing someone's doorway do?
Yes, there's reasons. We're not going to get into them today because we need to save material, folks, for next Christmas. So next Christmas, you betcha we're going to talk about the YULE lads. And actually, I think there was one that was like a spoon licker that he licks your spoons.
Gross.
So, they might not sound too bad here, but I'm sure that shit gets really fucking annoying. Like, come on, dude, licking my spoon. That's nasty. You know?
What is wrong with them?
Well, their mother is a cannibalistic giant with too many children to ever have.
Yeah, that's what's wrong with them.
By the way, this is the issue I take with Gryla. Okay, it's irresponsible is what it is, isn't it?
Exactly.
You don't have the time to discipline 13 sons.
No, you can't control that many kids.
No. And now they're young men who go out licking on spoons and sucking on cow tits because they don't know how to live in a world where, they can act right. This is how you get a door sniffer.
Doors.
You want to raise a door sniffer? Have 13 kids. Have 13 boys. See what happens.
One of them's going to be sniffing doors.
One of them's going to be a gorp. Do you know what a gorp is?
I don't. Do they sniff doors? Do they lick windows?
No. They sniff bicycle seats.
Ooh, like sweaty. Ooh,
or like bus seats, like after people's.
Ooh, why? Why is that a thing? That is so gross. Why?
I remember my mom telling me that when I was a kid. She was like, "You gorp," and I was like, "What?" She told me it was someone who sniffed bicycle seats.
Gross.
Can you imagine?
What is wrong with people?
The world may never know. The world may never know. So yeah, don't have a shitload of sons is the moral of that story. But the YULE lads have cleaned up since their original debut. They started bathing, combing their hair. They started wearing red and white clothes instead of the traditional attire that they donned in the 19th century, which is like, just fur, like rags. Like they just looked really like haggard and awesome. Really. They looked more metal. Now they look like fucking Christmas elves. But instead of having facial and physical deformities, they're now like smile, they're warm and welcoming, and there's no more annoying pranks. Instead, they're leaving gifts in children's shoes that they put on windowsills. And if they're naughty, they give them a potato.
Okay, so these kids put their shoe in a windowsill?
Yeah, where do you think the tradition of stockings came from?
I don't know.
Well, somewhere that we're not going to get into today because I don't know either. But I'm assuming this is in the before times. That was the thing. Okay. They put their shoe out or their boot, and then their boot would get some candy
some
or
stuff in it.
Fill your boots. I bet that's where the expression comes from, because in Britain they'll say like, knock yourself out, fill your boots. I bet that's where that comes from, is like maybe get your fill kind of thing. Yeah. But yeah, if you're naughty, you get a potato.
I mean, I would be happy with a potato.
I was about to say, like, that's not the worst. Like, I'm going to cut that shit up julienne style, make myself some fries. That is not a bad day.
Right?
Not a bad day. Thank you, YULE lads.
Appreciate you. You have a fucking baked potato.
Right? Yeah, thank you. But Gryla means fucking business. She is not passing out potatoes. No. One of the most evil and imposing figures in Icelandic folklore, stories are still told to the kids to keep them in line. Throughout the year when a child is misbehaving, Gryla collects the whispers about the naughtiness. When winter comes, she leaves her lava fortress to track them down and steal them away. She puts the children in a giant sack, an easy feat for a giant lady. And there are so many naughty children, which is great because she has an endless appetite. Once Gryla has collected all the kids like their little tiny Pokemon, she brings them back home where she cooks them alive in a giant stew like naughty little lobsters. The stew that she makes will satiate her hunger for human flesh, sending her back into hibernation until next winter.
She got to eat her some children before she'll go back to sleep.
You got to have a snack before bed. You know, I feel that. I need a snack before bed too. I'm with you. I mean, it's not, boiled children's stew, but usually it's like a Pop-Tart.
Same difference.
You know. Well, Gryla shares her home with her husband, Leopoldi, a troll, and Gryla has like abused this guy to the point of uselessness. No one fears him. He's just a weak half shell of a human because he's been married to an evil cannibalistic giant for so long. And also the stepfather to 13 boys, which has got to suck. Again, there with the children. But also, Gryla ate all of her exes. So I guess he just decided to kick back and let whatever happen, you know? Like
he was smart. I ain't gonna fuck with her.
It's fine. So she loves her massive black cat, who also loves visiting children, the Yule cat. We're going to get into him later. But next, we're going to discuss
Mari Lloyd.
On the last Halloween episode of Bob's Burgers, I think it's season 13, they dress up like this and scare the shit out of Louise. Do you know that episode?
I feel like I should. I've seen all of them.
Oh my God. Okay. She goes to like this hay place and there's Billy. Her friend is like Billie Eilish and Louise dresses up.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So that's Mari Lloyd that they come out and like the horses with the white sheets and the skulls.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. So
yes. I haven't seen that one as many times as the others.
So let's go to Wales, pal.
Okay.
All right. Well, this is one tradition that looks to have started around the early 1800s as far as, illustrations of it, but it does go way back. It's my favorite on this list because so much about it makes me happy. Around Christmas time and New Year's Eve, Welsh families may encounter a fabulously dressed horse skull on their own porch. This stark image of death is heavily contrasted with colorful ribbons and bells, which makes its ghostly appearance almost inviting. She has lights or colorful baubles for eyes, with a mane made of colorful ribbons, accented with holly and ivy. A white cloak falls from skull to ground, which is attached to a pole, which is, spoiler alert, held by a person inside it and not actually magic. Boo. They act as mischievous puppeteers, often snapping their bony jaw at you.
That sounds absolutely amazing.
Isn't that incredible? Doesn't that sound like the most fun thing to do?
We should do that next year.
I was just about to say, let's do it next year. Yes.
Fuck yeah, we'll decorate our own horse skulls.
Hell yeah, that'd be dope. Essentially, it's an oversized, morbid hobby horse for grown-ups for celebrating holiday cheer. Nothing wrong with that.
No, it sounds super cheerful. I'm super excited.
Tell them what I got you for Christmas, pal.
Oh my God, the most amazing skull ball.
So when we did our episode on cannibalism, I was talking about how this one tribe made bowls out of human skulls.
And I wanted one so bad, but I couldn't get one because they would have murdered me if I went. So Ash found me one.
I went to the Amazon.
I mean, I don't think it's real bone.
No.
But it's pretty fantastic.
Well, I'm glad you love it.
I'm going to be eating Fruity Pebbles out of it later.
It's going to be pretty amazing. The name Mary Lloyd translates to gray mare or gray Mary. Door-to-door revelers present the ghost horse around the community, and doors open with welcoming smiles. They know who this is. The midwinter pagan tradition is thought to have Celtic roots, but the image of some versions of Mary Lloyd has shown up for the last 3,000 years in the UK. Mary is taken around the village traditionally often between Christmas Day and Twelfth Night. However, even though it is associated with Christmas, this is a pre-Christian tradition. Some Welsh regions choose to parade their horse skulls through town for other holidays such as Halloween or May Day. So what the hell are these guys up to and why? From Middle English, wassail, or which means be in health. Wassail was originally a sugared and spiced drink of mulled ale, curdled cream, roasted apples, and eggs.
That sounds fucking disgusting.
That is just nasty. So
yeah, sounds like a tummy ache.
So to anyone who partook in the beverage, they were wassailing. The term later changed to describe begging for booze around Christmas, where poor merrymakers expected people to be a little extra generous. On account of it being Jesus's birthday and all, they would essentially trick or treat the rich neighbors. But
okay.
They were asking for booze instead of candy.
Why not?
Nifty. Modern Welsh wassailing isn't class-based, but the end goal does remain the same. Wassailers earn an invitation to come in by proving themselves through a back and forth rap battle with the residents.
A rap
of the home.
battle?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really rap, but it's like prose, poetry, like wit, you know, and they just go back and forth. So once you let Mary Lloyd inside, it's traditional cakes and ale all around. Everyone has a good time. And it's also said that it's good luck. If she gets inside, you'll have good luck for the whole year. So wassail. The Mary is also well known to be mischievous. So they'll try to steal things and chase people that she likes. So she's got a little bit, she's got a little bit of that sass to her.
Just take little things from around your house.
Just shit she likes. Why not?
Candles.
Chasing people around. Yeah, candles.
She's one of the lads.
She's like, hey, can I borrow this spoon? My boyfriend really wants to lick it. So the next guy on our list,
Hans Trapp, Legend of the Christmas Scarecrow.
To France. Oui, oui.
Oui, oui.
Hans is well known in the French regions of Alsace and Lorraine. And according to the story, Hans lived in the 1400s. He was a rich, powerful, and merciless man who was feared by all. His thirst for power was so great that he turned to deals with the devil to enhance his power and status. Hearing of this, the Pope himself excommunicated Trapp, so he was banished from where he lived and his wealth and lands were all confiscated. He was reduced to constructing a makeshift home in the mountains of Bavaria in Germany, and the legend goes on, because here he continued to brood and his evil desires festered. He developed a desire to try the taste of human flesh.
Naturally.
Yes. Well, that's what happens when you're a fucking, basically, he was like a Jeff Bezos.
He's like the Grinch living up on the mountain by himself. He got banished for dealing with the devil.
You can't deal with the devil, man.
No, that's a no-no.
Not back then. People get mad and then they're going to
I mean, I feel like people would still get mad today.
and then you got to make your own house in a fucking mountain, like in Bavaria. Like it's so cold. It's ridiculous.
It would be really cold. I hope we had a nice coat.
Well, no wonder he became an asshole and wanted to eat people. Like he was cold,
Yeah. Well, he was using their skin to make clothes.
Well, he became the dreaded Christmas scarecrow and would wear straw as a disguise. And he would wait on lonely roads for a victim to come by.
That is such a weird costume.
I know. Like, I'm going to dress up like a scarecrow and just fucking stand here all day. Like, freeze model.
He's like a living statue.
According to legend, a boy aged around 10 happened to cross his path one day, and the Christmas scarecrow stabbed the boy. He stabbed him, meow, with a vicious, sharp stick, and then brought the boy back to his lair, sliced him into pieces, and roasted it. But before he could eat it, he was struck by a divine lightning bolt and killed.
What?
So, yes. So today, naughty children are warned that Hans' spirit lingers on and that he may visit them in his scarecrow disguise if they don't mend their wicked ways. So he's like a fucking Christmas boogeyman.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Scarecrow boogeyman.
And, he's actually based on a real person. Hans von Trotha. He was a knight in 1450, and he commanded 2 castles in the Palatine. It was the French and German territory. But he got involved in an argument with the church over property. So the abbot would not concede the property to von Trotha. So he got super pissed off and he stopped the supply of water to like the nearby town. Cutting off the fucking water supply, like that really sucks. So the dispute continued until von Trotha was summoned by the Pope and he was excommunicated. So while there's no record of von Trotha turning to cannibalism or hunting down kids while weirdly dressed up like a scarecrow, what we know of his life is also extraordinary. Even the emperor's intervention wasn't enough to put a stop to von Trotha's battle with the abbot, which is exactly why the Pope came into the picture in the first place. Local legends also refer to him as the Black Knight, a formidable specter that was also sometimes said to accompany Santa Claus and punish children who were unworthy of gifts. I wonder if that's where the Black Knight from Monty Python came from.
Ooh, maybe.
'Tis a flesh wound. They were talking about Hans von Trotha.
Yeah. Kalikanzaros, Greek Christmas goblin.
Kalispera, y'all. We are going to Greece. Jordan and I used to work for a Greek dude.
We did.
That's
where we met.
Perv. It is where we met. Yeah. Yes, it
He
is.
was a perv.
Absolutely. Fuck that guy.
Right.
Kalikanzori are mischievous Greek goblins, elves, or gnomes. I would like to apologize for anybody who speaks Greek who is offended by my terrible pronunciation of
and mine.
their beautiful language, because it really is a beautiful language. It's really hard.
I know. Well, it would sound weird anytime I said it because I got such a thick accent. Like some Greek redneck over here. Kalikanzaros.
So these goblins, elves, or gnomes would come up to the surface of Earth during the 12 days of Christmas, which starts at Christmas and then it ends at the 6th of January, which is known as the Epiphany. The sun does not move in its position in the sky. So all kinds of mystical shit happens. And these guys come out to the surface of the earth to cause all kinds of problems for people.
Like cockroaches.
Oh my God, absolutely. Yeah. Yes. They're basically Christmas cockroaches.
Not unlike cockroaches.
That's right. That's right. These 12 days are also known as the winter solstice. So for the rest of the year, they live at the center of the earth where they spend their time using a large saw to cut down the world tree or the tree of life that holds up the entire planet. So Kalikanzori are said to be small, black, and male, mostly blind, with long black tails. They speak with a lisp and eat small creatures such as worms, snails, and frogs. They get into your house any way they can, through windows, down chimneys, through keyholes and cracks, anywhere. That's why it's important to make sure that your home is properly insulated. Once inside, they cause havoc. Rather than being evil demons, they're considered impish and stupid. So they don't actually do anything intelligent. And it's kind of good that they like come up once a year, because during the Epiphany, they take a break from, trying to cut down the tree of life. It's kind of cool that they take a break and come and harass us, right? Because they're steadily working on chopping that shit down. I don't know what's going to happen when they get it. Maybe the earth will go flat.
Like a bunch of termites.
I don't know. I just don't want to find out.
Well, what exactly is that? There's supposedly a tree in the middle of the world or in the middle of the earth.
I don't know, man. I didn't look it up, man. Tiny Taste of Terror, you know what I'm saying? I didn't.
Yeah, okay. I don't know either. Fuck it, let's move on.
Whenever I don't research something, I'm like, this is not a deep dive podcast.
Yeah. It's because we don't know. The Yule cat.
Ah, yes. The Yule cat, or Christmas cat, is a mythical creature from Icelandic folklore. So we're back in Iceland. According to myth, the Yule cat is a large, vicious feline that roams the land during Christmas season looking for people to eat.
Just like everything else.
Yes, it preys on people, especially children who aren't wearing brand new clothes. Wow, that's kind of a dick move. In some interpretations, it also tracks mischievous kids and pranksters. So it just kind of depends where you're hearing the story. In medieval Iceland, employers rewarded their employees and members of their households with new clothes and sheepskin shoes. The gifts were made as a reward for a year of hard work and as a motivator to finish the work before Christmas, particularly processing the autumn wool. Here's the thing. If you don't have new clothes for Christmas, the dreaded Yule Cat would come out and get you. And he's going to eat you. And he towers above the tallest buildings, prancing around Iceland, looking for people without new clothing, especially kids.
That's
and
right.
he inspects them to see if they're new. And if
How
you were
dare you wear an old garment?
How dare you? If you were too lazy to earn them, the kids might end up dinner. And you know whose cat he is?
Gryla's.
Gryla's cat.
See, I remembered her name.
The giantess herself. So the story originated as work incentive, like so many other things like we were talking about, like get them.
Right. Get your shit done or this fucking cat's going to eat you. Fuck you.
By the way, it's weird sometimes with the way we think about things to be like, if you didn't have like new clothes, like, oh, that's so classist. But this was during a time when everybody was making their own clothes and had like sheep and wool and they were making things. So that's what they were talking about. Not your parents couldn't afford to go buy some brand new.
You be poor and not have new clothes.
So it was work incentive. In Iceland, processing wool was one of the key activities, and people really needed an incentive for workers to finish processing it before Christmas time because, like we said before, there's no electricity. It's going to get dark. You can't see shit. So people who took part in the work would be rewarded with new clothes, but those who did not would get nothing, and thus Yule Cat would prey upon your soul and your flesh.
He's gonna fucking get you.
Mm-hmm. There are some interpretations where he doesn't eat the people, just their food and their presence, which is also really,
that kind of sucks too.
That sucks. Where's my gifts, Mama? Oh, well, Yule Cat came by and ate them because you didn't have new socks. Sorry. Told you should have made your socks, dickhead. The kid's like 4. Get back to your knitting. But as the time changed, the story also changed. Another way to make sure that the Yule Cat doesn't get you is just to be generous. You don't necessarily have to wear new clothes yourself, but if you gifted new clothes to the less fortunate, the Yule Cat will spare you. So that's nice. Yeah. It's still traditional in Iceland to give kids a little something new to wear before Christmas so that the Christmas cat doesn't get you. But most people really don't believe in its literal existence. But I tell Lyra about the Yule Cat. I think that that's a terrible thing for her. And so like that is the Christmas threat. I'm like, Yule Cat's got
I'm sure your dog is super concerned about the Yule Cat.
She wants nothing to do with that shit.
I mean, mainly because it's a cat or just another animal in general.
That's true. That is true. So we are going to take a really quick break. It's a quick word from our sponsors, some amazing people who make everything awesome. And we will be right back with the end of our list. So see you in a second.
See you in a minute.
Hey there, Ghoul Fiends. It's Ash from Creepy Tapas. If you know me, you know I love to spend countless hours browsing independent businesses, putting things in my shopping cart that I only buy once a year when I spend all of my money supporting all of your businesses. Well, I found the cutest little online shop on Etsy called Wick of the Wood. Wick of the Wood specializes in unique accent candles with an inventory that consists of one-of-a-kind handmade candles that can fit in a variety of spaces and aesthetics. Wick of the Wood always has their eye out for new candle molds, thrifted containers, and other inspiration. The idea that everyone can have a candle that fits whatever quirky space they need inspires Wick of the Wood to think outside the candle mold and make any idea you might have a reality. Since she was a little girl, the owner has always dreamt of having a little shop where she could sell her handmade items. Under the watchful eye of her dog, she lovingly hand makes each item, packages them, and mails them to you from Seattle, Washington. But you don't have to take it from me. Here are some testimonials from several happy Wick of the Wood customers. Susie says, 5 stars.
I've ordered from this shop, and every time it's an amazing experience. Everything smells amazing, and the packaging is always so cute and functional. This is my favorite candle shop.
Tandra also gives Wick of the Wood 5 stars.
These are so cool. I only burned 3 so I could keep one for show.
Another 5 stars from Duar, who says,
the seller is so kind. Beautifully packaged. The candles smell and look amazing. Bought it for my bestie roomie and she loves it. Thank you, and thank you for the freebies too.
Ooh, freebies. Those are just a few of the amazing reviews over at Wick of the Wood. I ordered a few for Christmas and I cannot wait to smell them and give them as gifts. Guess what you're getting for Christmas?
A
Wick
candle.
of the Wood. I'm especially excited about these adorable poison apple candles. They're so freaking adorable and spooky. I love it. You can check out Wick of the Wood at Etsy.com, shop Wick of the Wood. Follow Wick of the Wood on Twitter at Wick of the Wood. Wick of the Wood. Really neat candles. Check them out. Wick of the Wood. You really should. They're on Etsy. Hey, hey, hey.
Give them a sniff.
I am a voice of many, but I am not the last, and I won't be until we come through the realization of our true crisis on our hands. I am speaking of my brothers and sisters of color, specifically of my Indigenous, Asian Americans, Pacific Islander, Black and Latino people of culture. We are being kidnapped, murdered, and lost. This true crime podcast narrows on the murdered and missing Indigenous persons, LGBTQ, two-spirits, as well as my other beautiful sisters and brothers of color and their families. The families that had tried ever so wretchedly to get their voices heard across social media and news broadcasts in the endless fight to get justice in a world so unjust because of our skin color or of their status or their creed. This podcast shines a light. It makes our voices stronger, bolder, fearless amongst this large pond of true crime. My name is Jasmine Castillo, and I am a Black Indigenous person of color, a woman that has a deep understanding of the pain of my extended community struggling to find a voice amongst the cries of sorrow and anguish. I will have a variety of families as well as nonprofit organizations and a variety of other guests. We will discuss on human trafficking, the missing and murdered, and the brutality against people of color. My current focus will be in the U.S. and Canada. I hope to extend my podcast across the world to other continents of our lost loved ones. We stand and we won't back down until all our sisters and brothers are home. Welcome to Hands Off My Podcast.
What up, ghoul fiends? We back.
Hey, hey.
So, number 7 on the list.
Frau Perkta.
She is a staple in the Alpine regions of southern Germany and Austria. Frau Perkta, aka Berkta or Bertha, aka
Spinnstubenfrau.
meaning spinning room lady. She has a solid iron beaked nose.
Okay.
She dresses in rags. She carries a cane and kind of resembles an old crony, but this old crony can hold her own, and she carries a long knife up under her skirt. So gang, gang.
Bitch is packing.
She looks like a Scandinavian goddess Frigga, and both of them share one obsession in common, spinning. So like getting your spinning done and making sure your house is clean. She don't like messy houses.
Bitch, clean your shit.
Oh my God, dude. She's so fucking judgy for a woman who looks like a frog person in rags, but okay.
It's like, do what I say, not what I do.
For fuck's sake, you know, like it's just not fair expecting that kind of shit from people that have like 13 children. You know, this is back in the day. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. Legend has it that you better get all your flax spun by 12th night, January 6th, the end of the Epiphany. You seeing a pattern here?
Yes.
And what's Frau Perkta's punishment for those lazy ladies who haven't finished all their weaving?
Bunch of lazy bitches. I swear. You had plenty of time to get that shit done. You're probably going to fucking eat them like everybody else.
Well, in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, there are numerous tales of her trampling and even setting fire to the half-spun fibers.
Oh.
Yes.
So like vandalism.
And if you should really irritate her, like not only is your flax not spun, but your house is a total mess because she really hates messy houses. Oh, and also if you don't leave out a traditional bowl of porridge too, like that also, yeah, like you got to feed
porridge?
her. It's just like, it's just
Is it
porridge.
like oatmeal?
I think, yeah, like oatmeal with
like cream of wheat. That's just disgusting.
It's probably not even as good because it's like it's an English thing for poor people. So it's probably just fucking like grain, like wet grain.
Gross.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever had porridge, but yeah, if you don't leave her like a snack and you didn't do your shit and your house is a mess, her rampage goes beyond your fucking spinning room area. She breaks into your bedroom, disembowels you, and replaces your guts with rocks and straw as you sleep. So get your houses in order, bitches. Okay.
I mean, what's the point of putting the rocks and straw there?
Turns them out of Christmas scarecrows. That's, you know, she's like, I'm going to make you fucking, you are going to go have to marry that Christmas scarecrow goblin.
Okay.
Number 8 on the list.
See, I say it all country. Belsnickel.
Cheer or fear, Belsnickel is here. That's from The Office, which, if you're keeping up, guys, Jordan still hasn't fucking watched. All I want for Christmas is my best friend to get my references, please. One of these days. God damn.
No.
Oh, what about an authentic Pennsylvania? Authentic Pennsylvania Dutch Christmas. We'll drink some blue wine, enjoy some Hassenpfeffer, and have a Merry Christmas with St. Nick's rural old German companion, Belsnickel. Belsnickel is related to the other friends of Santa Claus in the folklore of German-speaking Europe, but he's a free agent. Belsnickel does not hang out with Santa, but instead, he just goes by himself, man. He goes to your house completely alone. He's like, fuck this.
I do what I want.
Yeah, I do what I want. He plays both good cop and bad cop. He delivers violence as well as tasty treats. So that's good.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Belsnickel originated in Germany. When people immigrated to Pennsylvania, they brought their German traditions along for the ride. Belsnickel was known in Pennsylvania in the early 1800s. Amongst the Pennsylvania Germans, Belsnickel visits homes around Christmas to check up on how naughty or nice your kids are. Traditionally, Belsnickel showed up at houses 1 to 2 weeks before Christmas and often created fright because he always knew exactly which of the children had misbehaved. He would bang on the door or window police style with his stick, and the children would have to answer a question for him or sing some type of song. In exchange for this performance, he would then toss candies onto the floor. If the children jump too quick for the treats, they may end up getting beaten with Belsnickel's switch. Boy,
this seems really fucked up. Put out a trap and then smack them. Here, you want some candy?
How dare you grab that candy, small child?
You did that too quickly, you greedy son of a bitch.
You need a switch for Axel's birthday.
Right?
She's like, not yet.
No.
I haven't written down the log for the thank you cards yet. Oh my goodness. So he was known as Chris Kinkle. He's a little like Chris Crinkle, but he's a little kinky because he's gonna whip your booty. I'm telling you. Belsnickel, and sometimes as the Christmas woman. So I guess he's also gender fluid like me. The annual visitor makes his appearance some hours after dark, thoroughly disguised, especially in the face, which would sometimes be covered with this really ugly appliances to accent the horror, generally wearing female dress, hence the name of Christmas woman. And sometimes, he would sort of present as a genuine and kindly looking old lady, but with this masculine force and action backing him up. Right. So they would be equipped with a massive sack filled with cakes, nuts, and fruits. Again, that's,
that's what you get.
That's what you get. But also a long hazel switch, which was known to have some kind of charm in it, as well as a sting when you were hit. So one hand would scatter goodies on the floor, and then the scramble would begin by the excited small children, and the other hand would just fucking whip them.
You little assholes.
Maybe it's an analogy for the hand that gives is also the hand that takes. Maybe that's what they were going for.
I don't know.
I don't know. But can you guess who Belsnickel is?
No.
It was their dad's, because this really happened. Belsnickel actually came and did this. It was their fathers dressed up, and they would be busy working outside or had to go, I've got to go out for a visit or whatever. And that's when Belsnickel would come. And that's how he always knew which children had been the ones that had been naughty, because it was
because it was their parents.
Mm-hmm. Or the older male relative. Yeah. So they knew.
They already knew that kid was a dick.
Yes. So the tradition has fallen into decline towards the end of the 19th century, but it has seen a revival, probably because of The Office, because everyone wants to see this Glenn Pickle guy.
Who's that?
Office fans. I know you're with me. She'll watch it one day.
I just don't know. Zwart Pite. Zwarty Pete. Black Pete.
Now, I almost omitted this guy from the list. He has a host of issues. And when I thought about it, I realized that it was important to talk about him. So let's not avoid an uncomfortable topic. Let's maybe talk about it a little. So can't grow if you don't know, right? So in the Netherlands, December 5th, Santa calls Sinterklaas. So I think that's a really cool nickname, by the way, Sinterklaas. I'm going to start calling him that. Passes out candy and gifts to children. So similar to this guy that we're going to talk about here in a minute, Nacht Rupert, Black Pete shows up at Santa's side. He's made popular by the mid-19th century children's story written by a man who was obsessed with the Dutch royal family. A little side history for you: before it was abolished in 1863, the Netherlands became wealthy from the transatlantic slave trade. They trafficked victims to the United States and sent them to work in Dutch colonies. They would engage in the same despicable shit the Americans were up to, gifting one another enslaved Black children, sometimes depicted in paintings wearing clothing similar to Zwarte Piet. One of the royals had purchased a kidnapping victim in a slave market in Cairo, and this is where it's believed the author of the story of where Pete originates modeled him after. It was basically modeled after an enslaved Black people that he saw. So when he was like kind of obsessed with the royals, he appeared on merchandise and parades. People would buy costumes and make their faces up to look like him, which is where the issue really gets heated because it's white people dressing up in blackface.
That's not okay.
No. I guess nothing says Christmas like a Dutch minstrel show.
I guess not.
Well, some Dutch nationalists claim this is all just because outside cultures don't understand the Dutch traditions, but it's hard to ignore the neo-Nazi protesting and violent mobs that have broken out over the issue, actually supporting it. So if Nazis are supporting you, I don't know.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, I mean, I don't necessarily, if it's not necessarily offensive to paint your face black, but what it stands for and what these organized groups make it out to be is, and you should be aware that other people are offended by it, whether you mean it offensively or not.
Yeah, well, it's modeled after a slave. So I don't mind whatever you want to say, however you want to paint it. At the end of the day, it is
Fucked up.
derivative of a real life person who suffered greatly and then inspired. I mean, yeah, it might be a tradition, but just because not all traditions are great. There's a story about Christmas ham, right? And there's this lady, stop me if you've heard this one. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to tell it anyway. It's about this lady, and she has a ham, and she cuts the ends off the ham, and her mom says, "Why do you do that?" And she goes, "Well, you did it." And she's like, "Why do you do it?" And she's like, "Well, my mom did it." So they go and they ask the grandmother, and the grandmother laughs, and she says, "You don't have to cut the ends off the ham before you put it in the oven. The whole reason we did it was because the ovens were too small. Your ovens are big enough now. You don't have to cut the ends off. It'll fit in just fine." So just because something is what you've seen in the past, just because it's tradition, just because that's what your mother's mother did and your mom did and all that, it doesn't mean that you need to. So I think that some traditions like Black Pete, I think it's really cool that people have taken the criticism and they altered the character a little. Like they kind of helped it evolve. So instead of the full out blackface with exaggerated lips and, just that really horrible caricature, he has been renamed Shorston Pete or Chimney Pete, who wears a different outfit and has soot smeared on his face. So that's,
Yeah, okay.
making it like, yeah, if you're going to do it, like, I think that's cool. Like you got to reform the whole character. Like it's based on a slave. You got, you know what I mean? Like the whole thing just kind of needs maybe a redress, that's not cool. So number 10. Well, okay. Black Pete is kind of like this next guy that we're talking about.
Night Repair. That sounded French, didn't it?
It really did, but that's okay. That's okay. So much attention is given to Krampus during the holidays, but there's one more German Christmas fiend that you may have never heard of that is actually way more popular than Krampus for like actual German kids. So there you go. Night Rupert is also known as the Dark Helper, who comes around during Christmas time to accompany the king of ho-ho-hos. Word Knecht in German means servant or farmhand, and he lives up to his title. He basically operates as Santa's heavy. He's a German good fella backing up St. Nick, taking out the trash, regulating with his machine gun, which makes sense because apparently he was a wounded foundling that Santa stumbled across one night. He doesn't really have a machine gun, in case you were wondering. That's not, I made that part up. Being the jolly dude that he is, Santa and Mrs. Santa's sister raised him from a baby. At least that's one theory. Others say that he's just a wild man come out of the forest, a dark elf, if you will, born to help Santa. My favorite theory is that while delivering gifts, Santa stopped in a hotel and stumbled across a crime scene. 3 young boys had been murdered by the proprietor and shoved crudely into a pickling barrel. Santa used his powers of resurrection and reanimated their bodies.
I didn't know Santa had those powers.
You know, it's like Jesus and the power of flight.
Okay. I learn new things all the time.
I didn't know. I don't know if they were zombies, but they might have just been like Christmas magics back to life. They weren't really clear as to the state.
Christmas magic.
You know. But as for the murderous innkeeper, he was punished, being forced to be Santa's foot soldier for all eternity and became the Dark Helper, Night Repair. So wearing an oversized brown hooded cloak, and I'm really seriously wondering if it comes in black because he looks really snuggly in all of these pictures.
I'm sure it does.
Sort of jealous. He's got this great big bushy beard and carries a beaten stick. You know, another old spanky. Love them Christmas beatings.
Yeah. Well, if you're not getting eaten, you're getting beat.
That's right. Eatins and beatins, kids. That's it. If you don't get your fruit boot, you don't get your fruit. You don't get your fruit boot, you're getting eatins and beatins. Merry fucking Christmas.
That's right.
He also hauls around a big bag that is, you know, big enough to store children who've been naughty and go to hell if they don't change their ways.
Damn right.
The North Pole. Anyway, he gives you fair warning that he's coming so you can get a head start. He's literally coming at you with bells on. You can hear him. So if you hear sleigh bells, instead of dashing to the window to check out friendly Saint Nick, you should probably run for your life. And I think that's really clever because parents can use sleigh bells to scare the shit out of their kids if they're being naughty.
I mean, I guess.
Ching, 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 ching. Oh my God. You know,
You better get in bed.
Yes. Or you could like sacrifice your naughtier sibling.
Oh, okay.
You could just be like, she's worse, you know, take her instead. Well, in Germany, Santa Claus comes on December 5th to deliver candy and toys. And this little guy would be right next to him the whole time, kind of like Black Pete or Chimney Pete now, attending to Santa's needs, which is pretty badass, actually. The sources that I found about this dude mentioned a little more about Santa than I had known previously. Like the naughty list is actually written by Satan. And yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes. Like Satan writes the naughty list. Like he's paying attention to all the bad kids and he writes their names on the list. And then Santa, which is only one letter away from Satan.
Yeah, you just rearrange the letters. You just kind of rearrange it.
Well, whatever. Just rearrange the letters. Same thing. Satan, Santa, coincidence? I don't think so.
Probably not.
I don't think so. No. Well, Santa carries this huge book written by the devil, and it's basically the devil's burn book. He just talks shit about all the bad kids in it. And if your name and misdeeds are recorded here, Santa will sick his goon on you, Night Repair. He checks up on you to make sure you know your prayers. And if it was a bad year for you, he gives you a switch or a lump of coal. So cave poop, gross. If you were just the worst, he might put you into his bag and carry you away. But he's not just a bully. If you were good and the devil hasn't listed you as a bad seed, you'll get apples or nuts as a sweet treat. So never fear, children. Instead of getting kidnapped out of your bed, you can get your boots filled with nuts from an old man instead.
That doesn't sound appealing.
Oh, no. None of that. All of this sounds miserable. I would have hated being a child back then. But it's still popular in Germany. You can see him at Christmas markets and events all over the place. So that's kind of cool.
Perkton
is an ancient pagan festival meant to drive out the devils of winter in early December. With a Perkenschloff. I'm so sorry, people who speak these languages. I'm American.
Trying.
I'm doing my best. I promise you, I fucking Googled the shit too. And I've just forgotten. And it's 1:30 in the morning, you know, just...
We're tired.
I'm so sleepy. A parade of these devil-like creatures run through a center of villages, fascinating kids and grown-ups. And if you've been good all year, there's no need to fear them. Originating in Central Europe and carried down across the centuries, it's a tradition strongly associated with the Alpine regions and the midwinter need to drive out the bad souls. It is batshit insane. The traditional costumes are no joke. Suits are hand-woven from corn leaves collected from northern Italy in the late summer and then sewn together to make the broad, rustling suits that the performers are strapped into. These can weigh up to 55 pounds. The traditional hand-carved mask and headwear have horns, And they use these horns to pierce the souls of the devils and faces that will haunt your nightmares. Yeah, it's just like they're crazy. Like these faces are crazy. They come in at a hefty 60 pounds each, depending on the size.
Holy shit. So these costumes people are wearing are like 115 pounds?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Are they dancing in those?
Well, kind of. So once the sun sets, the fires are lit in the center of town, and bells, horns, and all the stamps of these devils, because they come running and they dance, they perform long into the night. They roam around the crowd. They attack bystanders with coal-covered hands, smearing black onto everyone's cheeks, stirring up mayhem and inspiring screams from the lips of holiday revelers.
That sounds fun.
Right?
Le Pierre Fruitard.
Known mainly in the far north and eastern regions of France and in the south of Belgium and in French-speaking Switzerland. Father Whipper, or Old Man Whipper, is a character who accompanies Santa Claus on his rounds during St. Nicholas Day, dispensing lumps of coal and or beatings to naughty children, again, with the coal or the beatings, which do you want, while St. Nicholas gives gifts to the well-behaved. This whipping father is said to bring a whip with him, and he spanks the naughty kids, and that's basically his whole shtick, right? Well, the most popular story about him was first told in the year 1252. 1252. It's a long time.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So he captured 3 boys who appeared to be wealthy on their way to enroll in a religious boarding school. Along with his wife, he kills the children in order to rob them. One gruesome version tells the story that they drug the children, slit their throats, cut them into pieces, and stew them in a barrel. Santa Claus discovers the crime and resurrects the children. Sound familiar?
It does.
After this, Pierre Fruitard repents and becomes St. Nicholas's partner. A slightly different version of the story says that St. Nick forces him to become his assistant as a punishment for his crimes, which is the one
similar to the other story also.
Which is the other story. I mean, it's just like basically some of these are like variations, you know? Because like things sort of like based on a region, these were just like passed down by word of mouth. So things would just kind of slightly change, you know? So yeah, it's basically the same story, but you know, people were living far apart. So it would be like a slight variation on a story that maybe somebody in a different village had told. In the 1930s, he appeared in the United States under the translated name Father Flog or Spanky.
Let's just get straight to the point.
Just, you know, yeah. Although almost identical to the original French personification, Father Flog had nothing to do with Christmas, but also had a female accomplice named Mother Flog. The two doled out specific punishments for specific childhood crimes, like, you know, cutting your tongue out if you were a liar.
Damn.
Cut your hands off if you were a thief, you know, all that kind of good stuff. I think they were
eye for an eye bullshit.
They were under Sharia law. And the most common depiction of Pierre Fruitard is of a man with a sinister face dressed in dark robes with a really unkempt, like wiry, scraggly hair and a big long beard. He's armed with a whip, a large stick, or bundles of switches. So he could have like any of these weapons from any of the guys we've talked about today. Some incarnations of the character also have him wearing a wicker backpack in which kids can be placed in and carried away. So he's a kid carrier too. He also
I'll just carry him off into the woods.
You know, it didn't say that he ate them, but I feel like.
But he probably did because
probably did. Yeah.
I feel like they all kind of did a little bit.
Yeah. But that's all I got, guys. I traversed the corners of the internet for those. And I know some of them sounded maybe a little repetitive, but I wanted to make like an ultimate list style episode for you guys to celebrate Christmas. Merry Christmas, y'all.
Merry Christmas, y'all.
Big love, by the way, to Greg from the Indie Drop-In Network. We're in the rotation and I couldn't be more pleased. Thanks, Greg. They just played our Holiday Home Invasion episode on Friday, December 23rd. And it was just really neat. And I hope that if you're listening to this, maybe you came across our podcast from there. And if you did, that'd be cool. Drop us a line, creepytapas@gmail.com. Let us know how you heard of us and where you're listening. We also want to give a shout out to our network, the Darkcast Network, where the light shines brightest on our indie podcasts. We wish you all a very merry holiday season, no matter where you are or how you're celebrating the Yuletide. We wish you health, good cheer, long days, and pleasant nights. Don't forget to show us some love, sprinkle some Christmas magic on our 5-star rating, and give us a follow so you can keep up with our tiny tastes of terror every week. Well, I love you, pal.
Love you too. I like making faces at I looked like I was eating the microphone.
Thanks again for listening, y'all.
Thanks, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
If you want to keep up on things, you can hit us up on all social media.
All of them.
At
Creepy Tapas.
That's right. We're just Creepy Tapas.
All over the damn place.
Creepy Tapas is a free podcast, and we intend to keep it that way. But if you like what you hear and want to support us, please like, rate, and review. It helps us grow so we can keep serving our tiny tastes of terror to amazing listeners like you.
We would love to hear from you, so send us your personal stories to creepytapas@gmail.com. We are self-written and recorded with production by Freddy Cat Productions, music by Kevin MacLeod, and graphics by Panther Creek Graphics.
Darkcast Network. Indie pods with a dark side.